Today we stand at the crossroads of our history, facing challenges that test our resolve and opportunities that beckon us toward a brighter tomorrow. I am humbled by the trust you placed in me and inspired by the resilience I see in each of you. Together, we can build a future where every family feels the security of a thriving economy. Every child has access to a world-class education, and every community enjoys the promise of safety, health, and hope. Our economy must work for everyone, just not for those at the very top. That means investing in our small businesses, the backbone of our towns and cities, so that entrepreneurs can create jobs and dreams can take flight. It means standing up for the fair wages and empowering workers with the tools they need to succeed in a 21st century marketplace. When our local baker can expand her shop, when our young graduates can find meaningful careers close to home, our entire nation moves forward. Education is the bedrock opportunity. Every child, regardless of zip code, color, creed, nationality, ethnicity, or background, deserve inspired teachers, safe classrooms, and modern resources. I envision schools where curiosity is kindled, where technology opens doors to worlds beyond our imagination, and where no student is left behind because of circumstances beyond their control. By supporting educators, reducing classroom size, and ensuring affordable college and vocational training, we affirm that education remains our greatest engine of upward mobility. Healthcare is not a privilege. Let me say that again. Healthcare is not a privilege. It is a right. No family should have to choose between medical bills and putting food on the table. This is where my Republican Americans have got off track, is through the one big beautiful bill, in which I term is the one big ugly bill. It seeks to take food from our babies' mouths, and it seeks to throw our elderly out of nursing homes and care. It seeks to, and this is essentially what the policy is designing and is going to do. Although they would have you to believe that this is the beautiful bill and policy for the middle class and for those that are marginalized and poor. In reality, they have did to us what I like to term as the reverse Robin Hood. They've taken money from the middle class and marginalized poor and given it to the billionaire oligarchs. But this is why I'm running for Congress. This is why I'm running for United States Congress, because of the simple fact that when you have a group of people who are so out of touch and have no concern and care for those that in which they are affecting in such a manner, it's time for them to pack up and go home. It's time to send a new voice to the people's house, the House of Representatives. When I look at our current representative, Representative Richard Hudson, Representative Richard Hudson from day one, silently, y'all didn't pay attention. Go back and look at his bills. In 2017, he supported giving tax breaks to the wealthy. Then he come right back under what we call the reconciliation bill, in which his department heads, and he pushed this big ugly bill through, taking billions away out of that department in order to appease his dark donors, oligarch billionaires, in hopes of winning back the votes of the citizens here in the 9th Congressional District. But I have a message for you, Richard Hudson. You have lied to the people, you have manipulated the people, and the people are not going to forget the things in which you've done. You need to understand that health care is not something that we play around with, because without health care, our nation goes down because we cannot go to work. There's one that's will die prematurely, because health care is a right. It is a human right. How dare you to cut Medicaid in order to funnel more money to the ultra wealthy of this nation, 1%. How dare you? How dare you to strip away Medicare provisions? How dare you to lie to the people that's on Social Security? There's no clauses in that 900-page big ugly bill that stipulates that they are going to protect them, the ones that are recipients to Social Security. There's nothing in the bill that says that. In other words, at will, you can produce more taxes, even causing the Social Security system to fall apart, because you did not think that it was important to take care of those who worked. And this isn't welfare. They worked and they put monies up for their life savings when they retired. But now you treat it as if it belongs to you. And therefore, we're sending a message back. And the message is clear. Go ahead, Richard Hudson. Go ahead, Republican-controlled Congress and Senate. Pack your bags, for you have been evicted by the citizens of the 9th Congressional District and the United States. We are waking up to what you're doing. The realities are true, and they cannot be dismissed. They cannot be put in a state of abeyance or abeyance until you seek to come and see us again. Well, matter of fact, where have you been? Where have you been, Richard Hudson? What about the town halls that you promised to give your constituent base? You're missing in action. People, this election is not about party affiliation. This election is not about where you come from. This election is nothing about race, although they're interjecting race into this thing, and you have those ones in control right now utilizing hate and weaponizing our system of governance in order to produce more hate. But we are Americans, and our first responsibility and duty is to protect and preserve, as well as defend, the Constitution of the United States of America. We are to protect and preserve our rule of law. We are to protect and preserve our republic. And we are to protect and preserve those who are the formulation of this democracy, we, the people of America. That's why I will fight to lower prescription costs, expand preventative and mental health services, and protect coverage for pre-existing conditions. Now, together, we can build a system that treats patients with dignity, rewards innovation, and never loses sight of the human lives at its heart. Our planet is our legacy. We face urgency of climate change not as a distant threat, but as a call to action. Investing in clean energy is what I stand for. Wind, solar, advanced battery technology. Together we can build a system that treats patients and with dignity, and then when we treat them with dignity, they come out better than they went into the hospitals or the clinics in which they was forced for whatever reason. We must understand that we've got to push this thing, and we must mobilize our infrastructure, and we must pursue common sense conservation. We can leave our children a world brimming with possibility, not a world filled with peril. But above all, democracy thrives when we remember that our differences make us stronger, not weaker. We don't always and will never always agree on every policy issue, but we can agree that we all love and cherish and honor and are grateful to God for living in a free nation where we have what we call freedom of speech, which is, by the way, under attack by the likes of Donald Trump and his ultra regime. We live in a nation where we have a right to freedoms that other nations don't have. And this is why this election is so different, is because we have to understand that if we think on party lines this go around, this is our last opportunity, because tyranny, dictatorship, oligarchs, and monarchy rule, playbooks have already been put into place, and they've gained many miles, even down from having help from the United States Supreme Court. But we need to remember above all that our democracy, it thrives when we remember that we do have those differences, and we may even have strong opinions. But none of those differences outweigh protecting our sacred Constitution, protecting our nation, which in turn protects our interest as stakeholders. And not only our interest, but more so our grandchildren and our children and their children to come. We have a grave responsibility this election cycle. We have a responsibility to stand up with authority, stand up with righteous indignation, and tell the billionaire oligarchs that you're only 1% of this nation against 99% that are going to vote you out. We need to realize that across every ISO and every walk of life, we share a yearning for fairness, respect, and a voice at the table. We're not looking for the palliatives and the crumbs that fall from the table. We are the table, and we demand that we receive our fair portions from the table. As your candidate running for United States Congress, I pledge to be a leader for all Americans, irrespective of party, irrespective of red states and blue states and black and white and Hispanic and Chinese. I aim to represent the people because we need a voice in the Congress that has the people's best interest at heart, not padding pockets and building oneself through insider tradings. Now, I pledge to be that leader for you, listening to your concerns, defending your rights, and working tirelessly to bridge divides. When we come together in civil dialogue and common purpose, there is no mountain we cannot climb, no barrier we cannot overcome. There is nothing that we cannot do, because if JFK, John F. Kennedy, could dream and believe that a man could go to the moon, and they actually went to the moon, then we can take care of the small, minute things that's right before us with the resources in order to do them. Now, when we come together in civil dialogue, we establish common purpose. There is no mountain, like as I said, that we cannot climb, no barriers we cannot overcome. This campaign is more than a contest of ideas. This campaign is more than screaming. This campaign is more than theatrics. This campaign is more than one having a zeal or desire or ideology to become someone great in stature because they call themselves politicians. I am not a politician. I'm a pastor. I am a prophet, apostle of God. And when God called me, I answered the call and I said, send me, I'll go. And this is why I'm in this race, not as a politician, but a prophet. Like the prophets of old, like Prophet Moses went into Egypt and told Pharaoh, Pharaoh, let my people go. This is the same message God is sending. This is why you're seeing so many catastrophes. He's sending the same message. Pharaoh, let my people go. We cannot afford to sit back and complain and murmur about what we're seeing. We cannot afford to sit back in fear about what we are feeling in the grocery stores as far as inflation and the prices going up on groceries. And we are the ones that can change this. We can see that the Supreme Court is not going to change it for us, nor is the Congress or Senate. and especially not the executive branch where Donald Trump sits. It's going to take all of us as collective Americans to say enough is enough. We are the United States of America, and there is nothing that is impossible that so hard that we cannot achieve, and we will preserve and save our democracy. So this campaign is more than a contest of ideas. It is a movement of people who believe in the promise of tomorrow. So let us march forward, hand in hand, get in trouble, protest. As the former Congressman John Lewis said, we're getting in trouble, good trouble, and necessary trouble for the heart of America. For all of the work that our pioneers that gone on before us had to bleed and died, bled and died for, and was ostracized and was tenderized in this nation in order to procure the Civil Rights Act. But now they want to take our civil rights away. They want to attack DEI, which don't only, by the way, protect Black Americans. As a matter of fact, DEI at the top of the list of top 10 are white women. Look at what they've done to you. They're trying to strip your autonomy rights away. Your right to choice, your right to choose, your right to vote. Yes, they're coming, not just for the Blacks, not just for the Latinos, not just for other indigenous individuals. They're coming for your vote as a woman. And it's time for us to wake up and realize that the grass isn't green. The grass is actually black and evil. But we have an opportunity to dig that grass up and replant, refurbish, re-nurture, regrow this beautiful nation in which we call the United States of America. But it's going to take all of us answering that call. Will you answer that call? So let us march forward today, hand in hand, with courage in our hearts and convictions in our steps. The road ahead will not be easy, but it will be a road that every one of us can get on in order to take back what belongs to us. And that is this nation, a nation of freedom, the pursuit of happiness, liberty, and justice for all. So the road ahead will not demand our best, but I know this: when Americans stand united, our future is boundless. We've got to keep that resolve. It don't take anything else to occur for you to understand that our nation is under attack as never have been under attack before in the history of what we call the United States of America. But my question to you, will you succumb to a monarchy rule, dictatorship rule, trading in democracy and republic? I believe that you love your country enough to say no. We won't go for this. You don't need to see anything else. Just look at the big, beautiful bill. Just look at of how our brothers and sisters are being treated over in California. Look at how, and don't think that California is only aberrant for California, because they're on their way to you. Just look at how they've militarized California. Look at how they have tried to destroy FEMA. But then we had floods to come in, and Donald Trump had to swallow his words like a canary. And because this was a governor that he agreed with, he decided to say, okay, we're going to use FEMA. This isn't Russian roulette. This isn't a time to have a leader that have a laundry list of weaponized thoughts that goes completely against justice, because he have unresolved issues of past situations. We cannot follow him down his rabbit hole. He must go down that hole by himself. We can't follow Richard Hudson down that rabbit hole, because undoubtedly Richard Hudson has followed Donald Trump down the rabbit hole. Look at his legislations. Look at his voting history. And you will know that he has not been a proponent for this nation. If he cared so much about Fort Bragg, it's right down the street here from me. If he cared so much about our veterans and our soldiers, then you wouldn't have touched their benefits. You wouldn't have made it harder for them. You would have made it easier. Well, I believe that when our troops and our men and women go and fight war for our nation, they deserve to come back home to dignity, respect, and honor. And I pledge that once elected, we will take care of our veterans. We will take care of those ones who've taken care of us. Some gave all, which is their entire life, to fight for the dignity and the preservation of this nation. Some gave limbs. Some gave their minds. Now they have PTSD and they're homeless, but there's nothing set up for them. They're sleeping in tents. They're sleeping in the woods. They have no food to eat. They can't even get any medical care reasonably, and certainly no mental health care, which I do propose. So therefore, I say to you, my friends, we have a choice to make. It's a stark choice. Will we fall for this game of the steel of the United States of America, the most revered country in the world? Or will we say no when we go to the polls? I ask you to remember and vote for Lent Carr. Lent Carr for United States Congress for the 9th Congressional District of North Carolina. That's the 9th Congressional District of North Carolina. We have traveled all over, been all 100 counties here in North Carolina, but more specifically, we've been to every county in the district, and we will continue to travel on our tour and finding out what it is that our people need. What is it that ails our people, and find solutions to take care of our own. I say to you in my closing, we are the United States of America. We may have differences. We may have difference of opinions, but we end up right back to the same spot. We are Americans, and that's what's fighting for. Until the next time, thank you for tuning in to Democracy News Unfiltered by Lent Carr, Professor Lent Carr for the United States Congress. We ask you to cast your vote. Cast your vote wisely. Do your research this go around. And let's not be in an area of thought that I must vote one way because this is where mamas voted, this is where daddies voted, or this is where grandpas voted. I'm summoning generation or Gen Z to get out and vote because it's your future that's at stake. Go and visit our page. Visit our page. We have a comprehensive issue platform. Visit us at www.lentcar for US, that's FOR, for USCongress.com. That's www.lentcar for USCongress.com. And we look to engage with you. We want to hear from you. But we will come out of this. We will be okay. For we are the United States of America. Thank you for tuning in. Until the next time. Thank you. God bless you. Now let's get to work. God bless. Take care.
Only with you, the world feels right. You turn my days into golden.